Hello everyone, welcome to another art journal tutorial on my YouTube channel. Now for today's tutorial, the challenge was to use vibrant and contradictory colors. I know I've been giving you quite a few challenges in my latest art journal videos, trying out bright colors to using napkins to using foils, etc. I hope you're enjoying my different take on different mediums in the art journal. So today the idea was to kind of create textures, but try and avoid using a lot of layers of products or a lot of stamping, etc. So, and I also wanted to kind of play around with texture paste with a lot of colors. So I start off with my page and I'm kind of applying a coat of clear gesso on top of it, because right now I'm not sure whether the stamping that you see below it will show through or not. I kind of had no idea in my mind. I knew the colors I wanted to use, but I was not sure on the background. So when I have such kind of confusion in my head, I kind of use a coat of clear gesso, because whatever stamping or coloring I have done from the leftover paint onto the page, that will stay. And then if I want, I can later on again go with a white gesso and remove it. So here I have used a coat of white gesso and kind of drying it, and then will come the fun part of playing with textures. Now I apologize that this particular video is a bit blurry in terms of you cannot see the product name, etc., but I'll be talking about those as well as they'll be listed in the description. So in case you're curious of what products I have used, you can always check the description. So here I'm using some of the clear texture paste, and then I'm combining them with a orange colored chalk paint. So this is orange squash chalk paint by CrafTangles, and then I'm combining it to kind of create a tinted texture paste. Now this is honestly a very good idea if you're an art journal, if you like to play with colors, etc., because I know art journaling is a lot about letting go, playing with colors, etc., and kind of challenging yourself. So for that particular process, I really feel that this clear texture paste is a very versatile medium. You can kind of combining with liquid acrylics, watercolors, you can combine it with chalk paints like how I have done over here. I have combined it with glitters, mica, etc., to make my own version of texture paste, etc. So I feel this is a very versatile paste personally, and especially if you are into mixed media and art journaling, etc. So my idea was that I wanted to cover both the corners of the pages vertically, and then I wanted to bring it like tapering into the center. So that is how I'm using the texture paste to be applied on top of the page. I'm kind of using my palette knife to apply it so that I get maximum texture without actually using stencils and stuff. You'll see later on I have used stencils, but I kind of wanted to play with basic things that people have just using texture paste, palette knives, caps, etc. So once I'm happy with how the right side looks, I honestly follow the same thing on the left side. So again, the entire vertical area is covered, and then I kind of taper it down into the center. So center I had decided to keep plain, and then later on you'll see I'll just add a little bit of colors here and there for interest. So with palette knife, you can create very beautiful textures, just like, stippling the knife and kind of moving it in the motion like how I'm moving it right now in the video. And you can kind of create a bumpy texture, and, it looks really nice and very different from the regular things which we do with texture paste. So here, as I was saying, use your everyday things. So here I'm using the cap of the same bottle to kind of create some interest into the texture that we have created. And then, kind of just blending it out into the white part of the background. So, think of all those everyday things that you can use along with texture paste to kind of create the background. Next up, I'll be using one of the stencils. So this is a mixed media stencil by CrafTangles. It's called Vintage Damask, and I'm going to use the script part of it to kind of, just extend that center that we have created, and, just to add a little bit of something additional apart from the texture. Now this you could have done using stamping. You could have completely skipped this part. I just thought, since I was left with some of the orange texture paste, I will kind of use it out on this page itself to kind of just add a little bit of interest here and there and kind of blend my shape into the white part. Now comes the contradictory color that we spoke about. So I have used orange and then I thought I'll use blue. I felt that was a good combination and good contrast and a good bold combination for me to try out. So for that I'm using some dual textured white cardstock. So this cardstock is meant to take, very like it does take a good amount of water. So it kind of works like a mixed media page and it will take my chalk paints, liquid acrylics, texture paste, etc. very well. So that's why I'm using this particular cardstock. And then you can see just, I'm just putting out some color. So the color I think is vintage blue. I showed you the bottle. And then, just again, since we are playing with textures, I'm kind of stippling my brush to kind of, create that texture on top of the page. Now you may not see it here in the video, but in real life you will be able to see that stippling texture in the die cuts. So once I'm happy with how the color that I have laid out, etc., I will start cutting out rings. So I have decided, that particular cap texture that we created, that kind of gave me an idea, and I thought it would look really fun to kind of use circle cutouts to kind of create different points of interest, and we can use them in varying size to create our own design. So that is why I'm using this stitch circle dies. So this will cut out thin circle strips for our project. And here I'm using my trusty Cuttlebug to do the same. So here you can see all those different sizes of strips, and some did not cut out well because I kind of passed it only once. But again, that kind of played well with me, giving some of them are thicker frames or thicker rings and some of them are thinner frames or thinner rings. So that kind of worked with my advantage. So again, if you are planning to make something similar, I would suggest that if you are making that ring kind of if you are using the same thought process, kind of play around with the width of your rings. So now I felt that my page was too orange, and I had to bring back the white into the project. So what I did was, again, I took some stencil. So this is a gentleman stencil. Again, it's a mixed media stencil by CrafTangles. And I am kind of using the circuit part of the pattern to create this effect on top of the already textured area. So we are kind of adding a second layer of texture on top of our project. So the first is basic orange texture paste and the second is the white stenciling that we did, and you can see it comes out beautifully without any issue. So now that I am happy with how the orange and white looks, I kind of need to bring in a little bit of more blue into my project, right? Because the rings will not be enough and I kind of wanted to repeat it in my project. So again, taking the same cap of the chalk paint bottle and the gesso bottle that I normally use, I'm kind of using it as a stamp, and you can see I'm stamping rings on top of my journal page. So again, something that you have readily available and something which will add interest into your project. Plus, since these are circle in shape, so we'll repeat the shapes, we'll repeat the colors, so it will kind of merge together. So now that the stamping is done, we'll start sticking the rings on top of our project. So for now, for rings, you could honestly go with any kind of glue that you like. I personally prefer liquid glue because it gives me a kind of wiggle room to, it gives me a couple of minutes to kind of decide on my layout. And if something is what I don't like, I can always, take it back and add another shape on top of it, etc. So that is why I'm using liquid glue. However, feel free to use whatever you like. Now that I'm happy with the circle design that I created, I'm using one of this boy from Paper Dolls collection by Tim Holtz. Again, all the products that I talk about or use will be linked below, and you can find them all on the website that is linked below. So I'm using that. I kind of really like how that particular boy went with the blue circles, and then just because I wanted to add a little bit of brown and orange color, I have taken a little bit of liquid watercolor and I am kind of adding it as splatters and just kind of merging the orange color into the white to make it more seamless. Again, not necessary, you may skip this step. I just felt the orange to white transition was very stark. So now that I'm happy, I decided to use these particular sentiments. Now, these sentiments went beautifully with the page. It says live life in color, and these are from the sentiment sheets that is available. So these are CrafTangle sentiment sheets, and these are called creativity sentiments. So they have a lot of sentiments in terms of colors, etc. So I like this particular one. Live life is art, live yours in color, it says. And on the left side, I have used another one from I think motivational sentiment, which says flourish. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I leave you all with a lot of close-ups and the beautiful textures that you can see. I'll see you back with another tutorial soon. Till then, guys, take care. Bye bye.